Africa's first AI factory. It's not just another tech breakdown. It's a bold declaration that, the future belongs to those who dare to build it. What's going on, everybody? It's Professor Zeus, and I'm back with another video. If this is your first time at the channel, just know I greatly appreciate you. Why don't you go ahead and hit subscribe? We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers, and we are taking the humble route. Before I continue with this video, I do want to preface, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm dealing with some sinus, whatever, but the show must go on. Today, we're looking at a story that's, not just about technology, but it's about hope, resilience, and essentially the dawn of a new era. Africa, a continent where I'm from Nigeria, often underestimated, is stepping boldly into the future with the announcement of its first AI factory, which is spearheaded by, I believe it's Cassava Technologies, and they're powered by NVIDIA's cutting-edge AI computing technology. So this isn't just a data center like the Saudi Arabia NEOM or different things like that. It's essentially a beacon of possibility and a testament to what happens when innovation meets determination. And trust me, this is a huge deal, not just for Africa, but, for the world. So, let's unpack this article, connect it to some of the other global AI trends that I've spoken about in the past, and, see if this can inspire you to, see the value in chasing dreams. So let me go ahead and share this article. What you need to know about Africa's first AI factory. NVIDIA and Zimbabwe billionaire Strive Masiyiwa join hands to bring supercomputer technology to the continent. So picture this, right? A super secure, high-powered facility in Africa utilizing NVIDIA's AI technology designed to process massive data sets, train different AI models, and solve real-world problems, right? Strive, Masiyiwa's Cassava Technology, they're a pan-African tech giant, and they're the ones behind the move. And, they're not just building infrastructure. They're essentially trying to build independence, right? And according to this article, according to different reports, this AI factory will reduce Africa's reliance on foreign cloud platforms, which often come with a lot of high costs, latency issues, and data sovereignty concerns, right? Right? So instead of shipping data overseas, African innovators are going to be able to now process it on their own soil and at scale, right? And they're going to now have the speed to do it. And don't worry, I am going to put this article in the description for you guys to continue reading. But, why is this really important? I mean, for such a long time, Africa has been such a consumer of all global tech, and hasn't really been at the forefront of being creators of the tech. So this factory could essentially flip the script. It's a chance to tackle, local challenges like healthcare, agriculture, and education, with AI solutions tailored to African needs, right? So just imagine, AI predicting crop yields for smallholder farmers in Kenya, or, diagnosing diseases in rural clinics in Nigeria. And like I said, I am from Nigeria, and my brothers and I and our mom, we've definitely done medical missions in Nigeria. So something like this could be extremely beneficial for the continent at large, right? And it's all going to be powered by a system that's from the continent. So this really just isn't about technology. It's essentially about empowerment, right? It's about saying, we don't really necessarily just want a seat at the table. We're trying to build our own table and have you guys come. You know what I'm saying? And, with the backing of NVIDIA, which is literally one of the titans in AI hardware, this isn't really just a small experiment. It's a leap forward for Africa to be in this competition, because it's a competition, right? And if we zoom out and connect to a lot of the stories and a lot of the articles that I've discussed before, because Africa's AI factory is not going to exist in a vacuum, right? It's going to be a part of the global wave of transformation when it comes to technology. When I spoke about in my video about Saudi Arabia and NEOM, I talked about how the kingdom of Saudi Arabia is pouring billions into the futuristic city that's going to be powered by AI. which allows it to diversify beyond its cash crop, being oil, right? And NEOM, like I said before, it's a bold vision, right? Think about, flying taxis, robot assistants, all that type of stuff. But it's also a top-down, government-driven project, right? Now, with the thing with Cassava Technologies now, Africa's AI factory is going to be, it might have a different feel to it. You know what I mean? It's essentially grassroots in spirit, built by a private company with a mission to uplift the whole continent, right? And, this guy's from Zimbabwe. I don't think he's just, strictly just trying to focus on Zimbabwe, but I think Africa as a whole. You know what I mean? So, this can both show how different regions are betting big on, AI to redefine their futures. But I feel like Africa's approach right now is a little scrappier. It's a little bit more urgent and essentially extremely human, even though it's AI. You know what I mean? So, and then we get back to United States, Sam Altman, with OpenAI, who I've covered in one of my previous videos about his advice to a lot of high school graduates. He told them, focus on AI tools. They're going to replace coding. They're the future. And he's right to some degree. AI isn't just for people who work at Silicon Valley and different things like that, but it's essentially a skill set for anyone with a dream, right? And this AI factory in Africa is going to embody that ideology, right? You're not waiting around trying to get permission from somebody. You're essentially creating opportunities for young Africans to master AI, build tools, and solve real world problems, right? Imagine a teenager like in Lagos right now coding an AI app, right, on this platform, turning Sam Altman's advice into action, right? That's the kind of value-driven future we should all root for. And let's not forget, China and what they got going on with DeepSeek and Manus AI, which I've broken down in other videos. DeepSeek, shocked the whole world with its low-cost, high-performance AI models built under, U.S. sanctions, proving that ingenuity can outpace, raw resources, right? And then Manus followed suit like right after, because Manus is essentially an AI agent or an AI assistant, like for real, right? Able to automate complex tasks with just a single click, right? So these types of breakthroughs shook Silicon Valley, showing that innovation doesn't need a $1 trillion budget. You just need grit and creativity. You gotta be creative, right? Africa's AI factory is gonna embody this type of spirit, right? It's not about having the most chips, AI chips, or anything like that. It's about making the most of what you got, right? Now, Cassava is betting on efficiency and local talent, right? Much like a lot of the people in China, that's a lot of them are just local Chinese people. And they've created a name for themselves with DeepSeek and Manus, right? So why should this AI factory, get you revved up, get you fired up? Because essentially it's a story of defiance against the odds, right? Africa for far too long has been painted as a place of struggle with no solutions. Like my parents always complain about that. And I was just out there in December to January. I was just out there, so I've seen it. You know what I mean? Africa can change that whole narrative, right? It's a reminder that innovation isn't necessarily confined to just wealthy nations. It thrives where people, it thrives with people who dare to dream, right? The rest of this article highlights how this factory can spark a tech ecosystem, right? Drawing talent and investment to Africa. Now, that's not just economic growth, right? That's human potential unleashed, right? Think about the ripple effects. Think about the different things that can happen after this, right? A farmer in Ghana is using AI to boost the probability of being able to field his family, right? This my sinus is going crazy. I mean, a doctor, right? Like, imagine a doctor in Senegal diagnosing patients with AI. So you're not just only saving lives, but you're rewriting what healthcare can do for the continent, right? This is value-driven technology. It's practical, it's purposeful, and it's people first, right? And for the people who are watching, right, this is a call to action. How many videos have I talked about AI, right? And more articles, more and more news is coming about this ever-changing technology, right? I'm extremely impressed, man. Africa's AI factory, like I said, it's not just going to be a win for the continent. It's going to be a win for anyone who believes in the underdog. And it ties into everything I've explored, right? Saudi Arabia's ambition, Sam Altman's vision for the next generation, and China's relentless innovation. That it's a story of values, of resilience, community, and the courage to create. So let's take a page from Africa's book. Dream big, build boldly, and never let anyone, tell you your corner of the world can't change the game. All right. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys happy about Africa's first AI factory, or you think they got to slow it down? Let me know in the comments. If you made it this far, hit the like button, share this with a friend, hit that bell notification so you always get notified when I drop a new video, and subscribe, man. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. And never forget, it's you and I verse. Information, application, execution. Until next time. Peace.